You have heard the praise, you have seen the hype. Jedi Survivor, the sequel to the beloved Jedi Fallen Order, hailed as a triumph in Star Wars gaming. But here's the thing, what if I told you Jedi Survivor might actually be a bad game? Yeah, I said it. Buckle up because we are diving deep into the dark side of this supposed masterpiece. And this is an unpopular opinion you don't want to miss. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the launch. Jedi Survivor released in a broken state for PC and even on consoles. Stuttering, frame rate drops, crashes, some players couldn't even finish the game because of bugs. And no, we are not talking about obscure setups or potato rigs here. Even high-end GPUs struggle to maintain consistent performance. It was a mess, and EA/Respawn's post-launch apologies and patches came a bit too late for many players who already dropped the game in frustration. Remember Cyberpunk 2077? Yeah, Jedi Survivor had a mini Cyberpunk moment that people quickly forgave because, well, it's Star Wars. But does that excuse the state it launched in? Absolutely not. Now let's talk about gameplay. Yes, the lightsaber stances are cool. You can switch between single, dual wield, crossguard and many more. But underneath all that flair, is the combat really that deep? Once the novelty of switching stances wears off, you start to notice the cracks. Enemy AI is inconsistent, combat often devolves into dodge spam attack pattern, boss fights feels more like a Souls-like copy-paste than original Star Wars encounters. Compare that to something like Ghost of Tsushima, where swordplay feels tight, emotional and cinematic. In Jedi Survivor, even with 5 stances, combat can start to feel soulless, especially when reused enemies and mini-bosses start popping up like stormtroopers in a cloning facility. Okay, let's go into the narrative. Kestis is back, older, stronger, and more rugged than ever. But here's the thing, the story doesn't hit the same emotional beats as Fallen Order. Fallen Order had stakes, it had character development, loss, and the tension of surviving in the post-Order 66 world. Survivor tries to go bigger, new planets, more force powers, an ancient threat, but somewhere along the way it loses focus. The pacing drags in parts, some characters' arcs feel rushed, like Merrin suddenly being ride or die after a few cutscenes, and Budakuna, a potentially incredible character, but the twist predictable, and worse, not end. By the time you reach the end, you realize something. Jedi Survivor had a story it wanted to tell, but maybe not the one players needed. Kobo, the game's largest planet, the open world section that fans praise for being massive. But here's the hot take, bigger isn't always better. Much of Jedi Survivor exploration feels bloated. You've got side puzzles, collectibles, bounties, and cosmic unlocks. But how many of them are truly rewarding? You go through a complex puzzle, platforming challenge, and enemy gauntlet, and what's your prize? A new mustache for Carl, really? Compare that to something like Elden Ring, where exploring a hidden cave might give you a legendary weapon or lore revelation. In Jedi Survivor, it often feels like a filler, padding for an already long runtime. Even after multiple patches, bugs still plague the experience. Floating enemies, broken quests, triggers, animation glitches out, and let's not forget the infamous invisible board glitch. Yes, that's real. These immersions breaking bugs yank you out of the Star Wars fantasy, making you feel less like a Jedi and more like a QA tester. And in a narrative-driven game, immersion is everything. So is Jedi Survivor actually a bad game? Here's the truth. Jedi Survivor is a good game buried under layers of bad decisions. It has potential, moments of brilliance, and some truly stunning environments and combat animations. But its broken launch, uneven narrative, bloated content, and inconsistent design hold it back from being the masterpiece it could have been. It's not a bad game in the traditional sense, but for an AAA Star Wars title in 2023, with the resources of EA and the legacy of Fallen Order behind it, Jedi Survivor is disappointing. And maybe that's worse. So what do you think? Am I totally off the mark here? Was Jedi Survivor everything you wanted and more? Or did it leave you feeling like something was missing, like a Jedi without a master? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this controversial dive into a galaxy far, far away, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more gaming hot takes and lore deep dives. Until next time, may the force be with you, even if the frame rate isn't. Bye bye.